In this video, I'm going to walk you through a deal that I won, starting with how I got the lead, through the qualification conversation, the presentation, and then the end result of the deal. And the goal here is that you can see how the deal progressed from beginning to end so that you can apply some of the concepts that I talk about in other videos to a real life case study. Let's get into it. The one that I'm going to talk about is a nonprofit after school program. They had 6 locations at the time that I wrote the account. And the way that I got in the door was they responded to one of my newsletters. So I've talked in some of my videos about where do leads come from and how do you get people's attention. And the answer is you have to be constantly in front of them in different ways, with social media, with email, with cold calls, with letters. People respond to all kinds of different things. For this guy, he got an email in my inbox. He had gotten newsletters from me probably 15, 20 times. He'd gotten cold calls from me, but he responded not long after he had a terrible renewal with his current broker, and he felt like he needed to talk about something. So we set the appointment, 15-minute call, and he took the call on Zoom from his car. He's sitting in the driver's seat, parked somewhere, and we're talking, and I'm asking him what his pains were. And his biggest pain is that his liability premiums had jumped the whole way to $70,000 a year. And he was looking at it saying, I'm not sure that I can keep this program going based on my insurance premiums. I've got about $1.5 to $2 million in revenue, and this is just unaffordable. So when I'm interviewing prospects and when I'm qualifying them, there's 3 key questions that I go through every time. Last time you went to market, what was that process like and what do you want out of it? And it's 2, with last time you renewed your program, how did that process go and how did you like it and how do you want it to work? And 3, what's your 3 to 5 year strategy look like and how would you like that to work? And so I went through those questions with him. So when you went to market, what did that look like? What was the strategy on how to grab an underwriter's attention and who did you talk to? He said, I have no idea. Every time my broker called me, I felt like I was getting more bad news. I have no idea how he was trying to grab an underwriter's attention. I have no idea which companies he talked to. All I know is it sounded like this was the only option I could possibly get. Well, what was your renewal strategy like? I mean, was it 90 days in advance? How did that go? He's like, no, it's like 30 days in advance. He called me and said, hey, I got this really bad renewal offer that I got to talk to you about. Okay. So what's the 3 to 5 year plan? How's he going to get you out of that? What's your plan to get out of this situation? I have no idea. How do I get out of this? I don't know. And so I said, all right, this is a great start. What I want to do is I'm going to take these notes and I'm going to put together a strategy just for you that you can use. You can use it with this other guy. You can use it with me. Either way is fine with me, but we're going to put a plan together for you to get out of this situation. And then we set the presentation meeting. And at that presentation, here's what I talked to him about. I talked to him about his problems in his words and gave him the solutions. So he was frustrated because to him, it felt like every time his broker called, he was getting more bad news. There was no renewal strategy meeting. There was no plan on how to approach the marketplace. And so I said, okay, look, here's what you need to do. You need to pick one broker because getting quotes from multiple brokers just confuses the whole marketplace. It's not going to help you see what's available out there. But here's what you need that one broker to do. You need that one broker to dig into your situation because the reason you're getting bad results is you had a really bad license inspection. And that is turning a lot of companies off. And the after school marketplace is really difficult at it as it is. Here are the companies whose attention you need to get. And here's what their concerns are going to look like. And here's what you need to do to get around those concerns. You need to have a clear story about why those license issues happened, what you did to fix them, and why they will never happen again. And why you are still a profitable account, even in spite of that. And you need to make sure that they know they're dealing with your one broker. On top of that, it's not clear whether it was considered that you're a nonprofit program versus a for-profit program. So there's a good shot that in this list I'm providing to you, there's going to be companies that weren't even approached the first time around. So you may be opening up your marketplace. So if you can get a good presentation in front of the right people with the right plan that demonstrates how you're not going to make the same mistakes in the past, you got a much better shot in getting a more competitive offer from a company with a product specifically for you. Now, even if it doesn't work this year, let's say we try all these companies and they still look at your license and they say, we just can't get past that. That's okay. That's just year one. We're still going to have a plan in place, or you should still have a plan in place for year 2, year 3, year 4, year 5 until you get out of this situation, because it's the answer's in here with this list of companies. It's just a matter of time until you can pull it off. So after he had that conversation with me, in his mind, it felt like the whole world opened up. Where previously it had felt like he was boxed in. He didn't have any options. He didn't know where to go. And every time he talked to his broker, it felt like he was getting more bad news. And it felt like the whole thing was going to sink his operation. And then after this conversation, he said, oh, there's a way out of this. And he made the decision that, okay, I'm going to leave this guy, even though he's my friend and I've known him a long time. But you've got a plan. So I want to execute that plan. And you have articulated how to do this plan and how you're going to stay on top of it. Let's do it. So he signed a broker of record letter. I had not even seen his policies at this point in time because that was not irrelevant. His pains were about, this keeps going up. It keeps getting more expensive. I don't know how to get out of this situation. That's where his pains were. It was not in his coverage. It was all in, how do I do this better? I don't know how to do this better. So I got his policies, and that's when the real insurance work started, after he had committed to me as his broker. We did a coverage review. We did a risk management review. We put together that narrative that was going to be needed to get underwriters' attention from the marketplace. We got it out in front of the right companies, and everybody declined except one carrier. Sometimes that's all it takes. And for this company, his renewal premium was around $20,000 instead of $80,000 because he worked this strategy. And that guy, now he sends me referrals. He sends his other businesses to me. He says that's the guy that knows what he's doing. And so that is a picture of a sales strategy from beginning to end. I went through, where did the lead come from? What were his pains? How did I take those pains from the prospect and create a solution that was custom to him, and then the end results of the situation? So I hope that helps. If you got any questions, drop them in the comments. You can message me on LinkedIn. I'd love to answer them for you. If it was helpful, please hit like and subscribe. It helps other people like you find the content. And as always, thank you so much for watching, and please go build something great.